Hello friends, welcome to Tipsverse. Every one of us might have a great story, but what separates a great writer from a storyteller is penning down the thought process in paper or laptop in the proper way. Thus, I want to point out some of the most important points for all new authors to take care of. These are nothing new, but most of the writers have done these writing mistakes. And as a new writer, you must avoid these so your writing journey will be a lot easier. Number 1. Blind start. Don't just start writing thinking that you have to be the best-selling author out there. Indeed, every author dreams of becoming the best-selling author, but that puts unnecessary pressure on our mind and we cannot think of more creative ideas than pondering about our future success. Remember, your creative imagination is the quintessential requirement in writing a great story. Success will come down the way eventually if you have patience. This is one of the first writing mistakes of a beginner before jumping into the field of writing. Number 2. Unaware of their writing genre. An author should identify his or her strength well before drafting the story. He or she should know the genre well, whether it's science fiction, fantasy, romance, young adults, non-fiction, or whatever. Simply don't just try to emulate some other author, which is a very common writing mistake. Look into the mirror and ask yourself, which genre of writing can you write the most creative stuff? A new author always tries to accomplish multiple tasks, which does not give good results. So, identify your strengths, master your skills in the specific genre you wish to write about. Number 3. Discipline. Write one chapter daily. It's a normal tendency that while writing a book, we delay in writing, even though the plot line is in our head. Don't neglect writing chapters regularly. It will help you complete your book early. Any beginner I have seen would make a jump start and then loses the momentum. Never do that. Every day make it a discipline of writing a chapter daily. Number 4. Editing while writing. This is probably the biggest mistake a new writer makes. Remember, editing can be done after you complete writing your story. It is quite natural that we want to correct every small mistakes as we write, but that hinders our productivity to a larger extent. Focus on your content, creative imagination, and only after completing your story dedicate your time in proper editing. Number 5. Planning your manuscript. Planning your story is very important. You should have your storyline ready with you. You shouldn't write without having the details of your entire storyline with you. For example, the story opening, the exposition, main characters, conflicts, actions, drama, and a perfect ending for your novel. Don't just simply start writing without having a goal of your story, otherwise you will keep on writing without knowing where to stop. Number 6. Show, don't tell. You must have heard this many times. Yes, new writers often tend to tell the readers about the story, and it's a common fallacy for the author, especially writing fiction. You should never tell it. You gotta show the readers, right? You gotta show the readers about the emotions, actions in your story, and this is the skill you need to practice, and by practicing you can achieve these skills. And usage of adjectives and idiomatic expressions are quite helpful in showing a particular scene in the better way. For example, how would you explain someone is worried while taking an exam in a particular scene from your novel? You need to describe the physical condition of the character of your novel at that point of time. Your character is vigorously sweating every minute and he's wiping his sweat from his face, he's drinking lots of water. These are the personifications of the person in that particular scene from your novel, and you could have told directly this way, but no, you are explaining the situation so that other readers can feel the character in your novel is worried while taking the exam. So that's the way you describe a scene in your novel. Number 7. Writing out of the box. In fiction, We generally think of having the privilege of writing something new, unheard of. As a fiction writer, we can definitely write new worlds, define new magic, define a new life, new concepts, new fantasy worlds, and fantasy characters, but that must be comprehensible to the readers, right? Readers should not scratch their heads to understand the significance and meaning of your story. If this happens throughout your book, they will stop reading your book. For example, you have defined an alien planet in a faraway galaxy. The planet might have 48 hours a day or 4 hours a day. This is easy to understand for any layman reader. But if you write the planet is having 50 something a day, some random jargon you are using, so audience won't be able to relate or understand your narrative. So if you're explaining some unknown term like a fantasy term or a fiction term, you got to explain it to the readers before defining, assuming that they will understand, right? So use realistic things in defining something unknown, especially in fiction writing, and you will get this skill mastered once you read many fiction books. Number 8. Balance of conflict. Maintaining too many conflicts in the novel is a tough task for any new writers. Avoid too many conflicts within the characters in your book and keep a proper balance. Conflicts in the characters hook the audience, no doubt, but irregular usage of conflicts without having relevance will make your audience stop reading your book. Number 9. Defining plethora of characters. This is although not mandatory, but it's often seen that using a lot of characters makes a new writer go off track. Keep only the characters having roles in your book. Don't name and keep characters which does not have any significant role in your story. Initially, keep it simple and use 4 to 5 characters for your story if you are new in this writing field. The more you grow as a writer, you can increase the number of characters for your novel. Good writers are not created overnight. They develop the skills and learn from the mistakes and keep a track of it. Thus, a beginner should avoid writing such mistakes and start growing from day one itself. So my friends, if you like my content, subscribe my channel to get the latest notifications. Alright then, see you in the next video. Take care. Cheers.